Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Trigger TV. I'm William, and today we're going to cover Basic Gun Maintenance 101. So, after you finish the game and you're about to head home, these are a couple steps that you should do. Number one, you will remove the magazine. Alright, after you remove the magazine, you're going to aim the gun in a safe direction, either at a range or somewhere where there's no one else. We have a barrel cover on because we're going to be shooting this indoors. What you're going to do is you're going to take a couple of shots, about 3 to 5. So what that's going to accomplish is it's going to decompress the spring, especially if you're shooting on full auto, and it's also going to clear the barrel to make sure there's no BBs. So now we know that the gun is clear. From here on, you can put on a barrel cover and then walk outside the field into the safe area. Okay. Once you get to the safe area, you're going to take all your magazines. If you have a container or a bag of BBs, what you're going to do is you're going to pull this tab, like so, just a little kind of pull. So it's going to release and shoot out all the BBs. Again, put it in a container so you can recycle it and use it for next time. If you have high capacity magazines, same thing. If you pull the tab, it's just going to release the spring tension. After that, you can then safely store your magazines. The last thing we're going to do, we're going to remove the battery. So for this one, the battery is going to be in the stock. Take the stock off. You're going to disconnect and remove the battery out of the battery compartment. This is very, very important, especially if you have guns that have electronics or any MOSFET type systems, because if you keep the battery plugged in, it's going to slowly drain the battery and it could cause damage to the battery or the electronics inside. Once you've removed the battery, if you have a LiPo bag, we recommend putting the battery inside, like so. Or if you don't have a LiPo bag, we do carry it here at Trigger Airsoft, or any sort of container to protect the battery. So now we put the stock back on. So once the gun is reassembled and the magazine and battery have been stored away in your gun bag or whatever container you use, then your gun is safe to transport. So after you come home, we're going to do a basic maintenance. So you'll take out your guns, take out your magazines. If you haven't already, release the BBs from the magazine. If it's dirty, kind of just wipe it off. Do not put any liquids into the feeding lip or oil because it's going to cause it to jam. After that, you can then store your magazines away, and then we can get down to the gun. For the gun, most of the time we'll be playing in a dry environment, so there's just going to be light, dry dust and stuff. You can use a brush or kind of like a cloth, brush off the bigger particles. For the smaller areas in the recesses, you can use compressed air. Give it a little kind of spray. If you're playing in wet or humid environments, you can use a damp cloth to kind of wipe out all the mud and grit. Let it air dry before you put it in a bag. Ideally, put it on like an open area, let it sit for about a day or so, and then afterwards you can put it in any storage locker. If you put it in wet, it could cause mold, so you want to let it dry. After we clean the outside of the gun, we're going to clean the barrel. So for the barrel, take off your barrel cover if you haven't already. You're going to take your 1-inch piece of cloth. Usually you'll be using a dry cloth. You can use rubbing alcohol if your barrel is very, very dirty, but that's it. No other lubricant oils, grease, or any sort of like real farm lubricant, no CLP, just rubbing alcohol or dry cloth. So here, we take a dry cloth, you'll fold it halfway, you'll fold it halfway again, and then you get this thick strip. You'll take your open end and you'll basically insert one of the edges inside. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky. So you just put the corner in. Once it appears, you just pull it through, align it about halfway like so. once you get that, you'll then take your cleaning rod. As you insert, you're going to do a spinning motion all the way down the barrel. You're going to spin and push the rod all the way down until you hit the end. And then as you pull out the rod, you'll do another spinning motion as well. So as you can see, there's a little bit of dirt. You'll keep doing this until the cloth is clean. So if it's dirty here, take out the cloth, and then you'll take out another one, insert it into the jig, and then continue cleaning the barrel until the cloth is completely clean. So that takes care of the gun. The last thing, for batteries. If you have a LiPo bag, put the batteries in the LiPo bag, and then you can store it in a nice cool place. If you do not have a LiPo bag, other alternatives you can use are anything that's fire resistant. So if you have an empty metal container, like a paint jar, or if you have any trays or other kind of like metal containers will work. And if you're really, really fancy, you can buy one of these surplus ammo cans. These are very, very handy because they're also usually water and airtight. So you can store your batteries in there as another alternative if you don't have any LiPo bags. But that's it for really basic maintenance on your guns and also your magazines. So after all the previous steps are complete, the last thing you should do is to kind of look over your gun, just give it like a check. If you're running accessories, very important that you check the screws to see if it's all tight. If you have any optics, check the screws there as well. Also just look at your gun overall to see if there's anything missing. But that's about it. This is just a really, really basic maintenance on your AEGs that you can do at the end of every game day, just as like a daily kind of routine. For AEGs, they're usually very, very low maintenance. It's mostly just cleaning out the externals, cleaning out the inner barrel, and pretty much that's it. So in our next video, we're actually going to run through a basic maintenance of your gas blowback pistols. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, if you like our content, give us a like, follow us on our usual social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you have any additional questions, you can feel free to drop by the store and ask any of our sales associates for help. Well, that's it for today, guys. Stay safe.